Hi everyone, I'm Bella, your favorite sustainability ambassador. Today's episode is extra special because our guest is someone whose work has shaped some of my family's happiest memories. If you know us, then you know we're basically Soneva superfans. We visited all the Soneva properties many times, and each trip has felt like entering a world where nature, imagination, and sustainability all come together. And the person who helped shape that world through storytelling and brand magic is our guest today. Her name is Carissa Nimah. She's a global brand storyteller, a creative leader, and she spent years as the guardian of the brand at Soneva. Yes, that's a real title, and it suits her because she's someone who protects the heart and soul of the brand and truly help bring the slow life philosophy to reality. She has shown the world that luxury can be deeply sustainable without losing any of its magic. So today, we get to learn from her about storytelling, about the power of purpose, and about the lessons she's gathered from the islands, communities, and some of the most inspiring people in hospitality. Carissa, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited for this conversation. Hi,
Hi, Bella.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Good. Nice to see you.
Same here. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
I'd love to start at the very beginning with your personal journey. You've
Okay.
worked with some amazing purpose-driven brands. So,
Yeah.
what was something that first drew you to the companies that put nature, purpose, and sustainability at the very center of everything they do?
So I just really believe that companies should operate for reasons beyond just profit. Of course, companies should be
Hmm.
profitable. That's the whole reason of, establishing a company, but they can do it in a way that is not destroying the world or, taking advantage of people. I think that companies really can be innovative and do things in a different way. And I think that that's what's really inspired me to work for some of the brands that I've been lucky enough to work for in my career because they try and do things differently and they actually have their footprint on the world is really positive. So that's as an employee, I think that's really inspiring.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And before joining Soneva in the Maldives, you already had a strong background in branding and communications. I'm really
Mhm.
curious, once you sort of stepped into a more sustainability and regenerative focused environment in the business space, how did that change the way you thought about your work?
Working for a company that does good or tries to do good is actually really motivational because it means that everything that you're doing for as your role in the company, whatever that is actually also having a positive impact. And in tourism and hospitality, hotels are very resource intensive, right? They take a lot of resources and they have the potential to be kind of, they do provide jobs and economic growth, but they have the potential to also use a huge amount of resources that far outweigh the benefits. So when you work for a brand in or a company in tourism and hospitality, that's doing a good thing. You realize that you can actually help a lot of people and protect the environment where your hotel is, or maybe beyond its borders, even for brands that, for instance, measure carbon footprint and so on. So I think for employees, especially the younger generation, which is really inspiring, it's not just about getting a job that pays you money. It's about using your time, your resource, your knowledge, your skills to actually make a difference.
Yeah, and it sort of changes the story you want to tell as a company as well.
It
Yeah.
does because Bella, what I've learned is that companies, there's always a better solution. It might be harder to do things differently. It might be more
Hmm.
expensive to do things differently, but there is a solution about how they operate because there's that expression, right? You vote with your wallet. You go stay in places that are doing the right thing. You buy products that are sustainable or
Hmm.
ethically made or sourced. So it's really up to us to shape how to encourage companies to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people might think that it's, oh, it's the company's job, right? And then I'll follow. Well, you can actually make a difference by just, transitioning. Um,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
that's awesome. Was there like a standout moment in your career where this sort of like clicked and you realized, yeah, this is the kind of work I want to dedicate my voice and my impact to?
Um, yeah, I would definitely say it was at Soneva, which is my job before
Hmm.
where I am now. That was the
Yeah.
beginning of my real sustainability story. And I just realized that a company really can do things differently. So, for instance, I mean, Soneva's really led the world in sustainable travel, especially luxury sustainable travel.
Yeah.
But some of the things that it does is, it's banned plastic water bottles on site for 25 years. So, what other hotel was thinking about banning plastic water bottles 25 years ago? And then all these things that it does on site that not only kind of reduces its waste, but it upcycles its waste, it turns waste
Yeah.
into value. It just minimizes like the supply chain in a hotel is very important. Where do you source your ingredients from? Is it local? Is it overseas? And if it's overseas, what's the associated footprint of those things? So being involved in that company taught me that hotels have a choice. And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, they can do things better if they want to. Yes, it's harder. Yes, it's more expensive, but it's actually such a nice and better way of operating. So, Soneva really inspired me to think about my own life in a different way
Yeah.
from kind of consumerism point of view and my own daily actions. And I really hope that it had a positive impact as well on other hotels in the Maldives. And
Yeah.
and after Soneva, I left to join to get a different job, but sustainability is such an important factor for me
Yeah.
that kind of like it made me really choose where I
Yeah.
wanted to work next.
That's awesome. It was like a follow through
Yeah,
sort of element. And going back to Soneva, your title was Guardian of the Brand, which
yeah,
sounds absolutely amazing. For all of us listening, and especially the kids like me who love creative storytelling, what did that
yeah.
role actually look like day to day?
So my role as guardian of the brand was overseeing everything to do with the hotel sales and
Mm-hmm.
marketing and the kind of commercial aspect of the hotel. And the reason why I wasn't just called the, say, chief commercial officer is because the way your job title actually has a really important impact on the way you work.
Yeah.
So job titles can be really boring or they can be really cool.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to have a really cool job title because Guardian of the Brand every day made me think that I am the guardian of this beautiful, sustainable brand, right? So my job is to protect the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And protecting the brand meant that I didn't want to, for instance, do anything that would damage the brand in any way. That could mean, for instance, doing like flash sales or doing a partnership or a collaboration or some kind of marketing opportunity that wasn't protecting the brand. I think job titles are important because they kind of make you act, even subconsciously, in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Of
I
course,
would
yeah.
challenge the younger generation, especially, to rethink what job titles could be. So that's why, Bella, I hope I explained it clearly.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. That's such a cool way to explain it. Yeah, and that's like a challenge that people can give themselves. Say if you have like a recycling committee in school, instead of calling yourself like, oh, trash picker upper, it could be
Yeah,
something, way more
it
cool.
could, exactly. So you could be, for instance, guardian of the environment or
Yeah.
something like that. But there was a very famous story of a president of in America went into like a NASA kind
Yeah.
of headquarters. This is going back kind of 30, 40 years. And he went into NASA headquarters and he met the janitor and he said to him, what do you do here, sir? And the janitor said, I'm helping take people to space.
Yeah.
As janitor, his job is cleaning, right? But
Yeah.
actually he's got such a more important job. And so
Yeah.
do all of us. We have more important jobs to do than, the immediate one in front of us. So I think
Yeah.
it's a really interesting way that businesses can get their people to become more motivated and more like to be part of a bigger purpose than what their immediate job title requests of them.
Like showing them like the bigger image.
Exactly.
Yeah. And from your years of experience, what makes
Mhm.
Soneva's sustainability model truly different from other luxury resorts? Because as a
Mhm.
family who's visited so many times, we can really feel the difference. So how would you explain that?
I think it's because Soneva invests so much effort into really looking at end to end. They
Yeah.
don't do just like the basic stuff that I've seen so many hotels do that I kind of roll my eyes at. We don't use plastic water bottles anymore. We use glass ones. Okay, great. If you don't want your towels washed every day, please put this sign on the bed. This is like really top level. This is kind of you're not even trying that hard, to be honest. So
Hmm.
what Soneva did is looked at every single aspect of the hotel operations
Yeah.
from sourcing and a supply chain through to the flights, like when people fly into the resort, how much carbon is that using, and
Yeah.
how can offset the carbon through carbon credits or planting forests through to its operations on site. How can they be more sustainable in its operations
Hmm.
through to its relationships with the community? How can it upskill the community? How can it help address some community problems?
Yeah.
So I think and to do this, Bella, that's a very big job. This is not something that one person can do. There was a whole team of people involved, and that meant that this team of people could really address all these challenges and make the resort more and more and more sustainable. So I think to be really successful, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes a team of people, and it takes sustainability to be kind of looked at across the entire organization. It's about making sure that sustainability is measured in every department and it's also rewarded. So, for
Yeah.
instance, in your different teams, like at work, at school, how is sustainability being rewarded? It takes, you
Hmm.
have to measure it and you have to reward it, you have to incentivize it. So, there's lots of ways
Yeah.
actually.
Wonderful. So Soneva really dug deep and were really effective in that way.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, what do you think is the coolest thing that they were doing?
I love the glass, they call it the glass cycle. So, what they
Yeah.
did was, when guests went for dinner and had, for instance, a nice bottle of wine, and they finish that said bottle of wine, they take it the next day into this glass studio, the glassical, and
Mhm.
then you can melt the wine bottle down and you can make a piece of art with that wine bottle
Wow.
that you can take home. Or they used to have these visiting artists come and make lots of art that was made from all these empty glass bottles or containers, and then they'd sell that art, Bella, for
Oh,
so much
wow.
money, thousands of dollars, and all that money then went back into that sustainability fund. So it's a real the reason I love this is because it shows that waste doesn't always have to be waste. There's
Yeah.
a real way to create value from what we think could be just waste objects, but there's opportunities to upcycle the waste and make value from it. That's just one. I think that's a really innovative project for a resort to be doing. But they really took care to manage the waste.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, they also helped build water bottling plants on the different islands around the resort in the Maldives so that the island communities could also stop buying imported water, like bottled
Yeah.
water.
That's so true. And you've worked on so many inspiring projects like these in Soneva during your time. Which initiative can you remember that really
Mhm.
had an impact that was really visible and stuck out to you?
There were a lot of projects, and I think a lot of projects at Soneva had a lot of impact. But one of the things that they did that I really liked most wasn't wasn't what you would call a kind of environmental sustainability projects as such, but it was a community project. And this was when they taught, so Soneva is in the Maldives. They had, and a lot of Maldivian children didn't know how to swim because even though you lived on an island and you're
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by water, a lot of children just didn't learn how to swim at school. So
Yeah.
Soneva took the initiative to train, first of all, Maldivian lifeguards how to swim and did a very intensive course. And then these lifeguards went back to their own islands and they taught their own community members how to swim. And over the course of a couple of years, hundreds and hundreds of children were taught how to swim. And I think this is
Wow.
amazing because when you live on an island, the risk of water accidents is much, much higher than for us
Mm-hmm.
who live on, on the mainland. And this is really saving lives. And I think
Yeah.
this is another example of how businesses have a chance and have also the responsibility to improve their communities. So I think this
Yeah.
is an amazing story that shows that businesses, if they really want to, can really, really help their communities.
Yeah, sustainability. A lot of people think that it's just about the planet, but it's also about people and communities
Yeah,
and cultures.
yeah,
And that's
100%.
that's a big piece of proof right there.
It
Uh,
is, yeah.
Another thing I love about Soneva is the
Mhm.
slow life philosophy.
Yeah,
For people who are hearing it for the first time, could you
yeah.
explain what slow life stands for and why it's such an important part of how Soneva thinks and operates?
So Slow Life is an acronym and it stands for Sustainable, Local, Organic Wellness, Learning, Inspiring, Fun Experiences. Okay, Slow Life.
Yeah.
And every single part of that acronym, sustainable, basically meaning, trying every single touch point of the operations to be sustainable. Local means buying local, hiring locally rather than hiring people from, far away. And trying to, local also means culture, protecting the culture where your business is. Okay, so
Yeah.
having this local mentality in mind. Organic, for obvious reasons, you want to try and either, buy organic, or if you have a fruit and vegetable garden, keep it organic because of the impact on your wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Sustainable, local, organic wellness. Wellness is not just for the customers, it's for the employees too.
True.
If you have people working for you that are happy, healthy, well, mentally, mentally well as well, it has a huge impact on your business and on your customers. So this whole philosophy around wellness is making sure that your business is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then life learning, inspiring, fun experiences. This is what Soneva tried to deliver to its guests. They want to create an opportunity where their guests always learn things when they come to them. They're inspired to try different things. And Soneva used to try and really offer nice, unique experiences and obviously fun. I mean, not every business is able to have fun, but Soneva really was. And, they did things like going bare feet, and there was like rabbits running around the resort, and there was all these like cool, fun experiences. So that, as a nutshell, kind of encompass the philosophy of this brand. And it's a very strong philosophy, Bella. And you've probably spoken about this on some other podcasts that you've done, but when a business has a very strong philosophy and a strong reason to a strong purpose, it does really well.
It's like the strong roots
Yes,
will then grow into a much stronger tree. And out of
exactly.
all the elements, the eight elements in slow life, from sustainability to wellness to learning to fun,
Yeah.
which part do you think the world needs most right now and why?
Oh, I would say fun. I think everyone's so,
Yeah.
so serious, and there's so many things going on that's making the world so stressed, but like fun, definitely. But let me just think this through. I would say inspiring. I
Mhm.
think we all need to get inspired to do things a little differently. And this is a year of change. We're about to go into 2026, which is the year of the horse in astrology. And
Yeah.
the year of the horse represents a time of change. And I think that if it could be inspired change, if we could all try to do things differently, better, more inspired, that could have a huge impact on all of us.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Moving on, I
Hmm.
recently traveled to Bhutan,
Yeah.
a place where you are based now, and
Yes.
where I feel that nature is literally part of every single step you take. How do destinations like Bhutan help teach the world about mindful, responsible, and sustainable tourism?
Good question. So, Bhutan is a very unique place because it's kind of trapped in time.
Hmm.
And one of the main reasons that people come here is because this culture is so authentic and it's
Yeah.
really unlike anywhere else that you've probably ever visited before. And not only that, it's very spiritual.
Hmm.
About 10% of the total population in this country are nuns and monks. So it
Wow.
has a deeply, deeply spiritual energy. As soon as you step off the plane, you can feel that there's something different here. Because when you're here, it's not a destination you come for any kind of fast living. It's not a city, it's a small country with only 750,000 people. And everything about it is quiet, it's slow, it's mindful, and you are almost transported into a different kind of parallel universe where you're not connected all the time to your phone. It's a place you come to slow down, to really think, to have clarity, like clarity of thought. On the weekends, I go hiking around different parts of Bhutan, and maybe I'll see one or two people, maybe I won't see any. And you just have the most amazing views in front of you, kind of like the view that you see on my screen behind me. And
Yeah.
you just think it gives you this perspective to look at things a little differently. It's what we call in the travel industry a transformative destination.
Yeah.
When you leave, something has changed inside of you, which is really, really incredible.
That's so wholesome. Um, Now Bhutan is also really unique, staying on that track, because
Mhm,
instead of measuring their country as in, their economy or how much money they're pulling in every year,
mhm,
they sort of measure in gross national happiness.
mhm.
Do you think that sort of plays a difference on the people and the sustainability?
Yeah, it does. There are four pillars to gross national happiness, and sustainability is actually one of those pillars. So, what it means is that every single decision in Bhutan is made keeping sustainability in mind. So,
Hmm.
we were just talking about how businesses should focus more on sustainability. This is an example of a country that focuses on
Yeah.
sustainability. So, what that means, Bella, is that when Bhutan takes any decision, it doesn't just take a decision based on the economic impact, which probably is the way that a lot of countries take decisions, is purely economic impact. That's not Bhutan. It takes decisions based on a number of factors, such as, is this a good decision for the people? Is it a good decision for the environment of Bhutan? Will it has it got long-term value? Yes, does it create jobs and bring economic impact? But that's not the only reason. That's not the only way that Bhutan makes decisions. And I'll give you some examples. In Bhutan, the in the constitution of the country, at least 65% of the country has to remain under forest cover at all times. 65%, okay?
Wow.
So it means that even if new governments come and go, they cannot change that. It's in the constitution. So at all times, Bhutan's going to remain protected and under forest cover, which is amazing because many other countries don't have this protection. That's just one such example, but Bhutan takes its environment extremely seriously.
Hmm. Wow,
Yeah.
wonderful. And from everything you've learned, what's one important mindset shift travelers need to make if they truly want to be part of the solution?
Mm. Put your money, like vote with your wallet.
Hmm.
Okay, that's like one thing that I think is really important because as consumers, we can change, we can force change if we vote with our wallet. If a company is not acting ethically, stop buying from that company. It's like we can make the management of the business think about things differently if we stop giving support or money to that particular business. I think as the younger generation, I feel that you guys have you're kind of inheriting a lot of things that and is not fair to you because
Yeah.
there's companies that are not doing what they should be doing, but you guys have so much power to make things better. And I think
Yeah.
it's amazing that you and your friends and colleagues are thinking about these topics at this age because it's really so important.
Thank you so much. And if every
Mhm.
young person listening could
Yeah.
learn one piece of advice from your
Yep.
journey, what would that be?
Mhm. Never underestimate yourself.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
as young people, we always question, are we too young? Do we know enough? But you guys don't underestimate yourself. If you have a great idea, go for it. You're not too young. And also don't be shy to network and to meet other people and to get advice and to bounce your ideas off other people because that's how you're going to learn
Yeah.
more and grow and really just talk to people about your idea. And you'll find that people are willing to help you and support you. But yeah, I think the youth have so much potential, so much power and so much potential.
Thank you. It's been an absolutely awesome episode. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me, Bella, and hope to see you again in Bhutan. And good luck. This kind of podcast is so important. Keep going. Don't
Thank
underestimate yourself.
you. Carissa, thank you so much for being with us today. Listening to you, it truly feels like we've traveled together from the white sands of the Maldives all the way to the mountains of Bhutan. What I love most is about how you remind us that sustainability isn't just something we practice, it's about living it every single day with curiosity, kindness, and intention. You've shown us that caring for our planet doesn't have to feel heavy or serious all the time. It can be thoughtful, joyful, and super fun. Thank you for sharing your views and insights and reminding us to stay curious and have fun while walking along the path of caring for our planet. To everyone listening, I hope today's conversation inspires you to slow down, notice the world around you, and make choices that help protect it. Thank you for listening. Stay curious, stay kind, and I'll see you next time. Catch you on the green side.